Time Jumper. Commence countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And now, ToyCast, with your hosts, TFG1 Mike, Pecan Court Michael, and Brian Kilby of Radio Free Cybertron.
Hello and welcome to the 70th episode of ToyCast. Yes, that's right, the 70th episode. I am your host, TFG1 Mike, and joining me for the first time ever is a combination of Pecan Court Michael and Brian Kilby from Radio Free Cybertron. Hey guys, how's it going?
Yo.
Hey,
yeah, I took your catchphrase. Sorry.
oh. I thought I heard Richard Simmons on the line there. What was that?
Uh-oh.
That's kind of scary, actually.
Hello. Yeah. Yeah. Hey, how's it going?
It's going. I think it's no, Brian. You were on episode 50 for a little bit. You weren't on the whole thing. But okay. So it's been about 20 or so episodes. See, I was thinking the last episode you were on was the first episode you were on, which was episode 30. That was like 50 episodes ago. But
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, something like that. So, what have you been up to, Brian?
Working about 90 hours a week and podcasting. It's awesome. And then trying to spend some time with my wife. It's fantastic.
I like how that goes. Work, podcasting, then the wife.
Yeah.
Why would you want to do that?
Yeah, I hope she didn't hear that.
I don't think your wife listens to this show, so that's good.
Yeah.
So what else?
I need a list now of all the wives who listen to this show, just to be sure.
Yeah, hopefully they're not like wives clubs who listen to the podcast just to spy on their husbands.
Well,
Exactly.
I know Steve's wife doesn't listen to any of the podcasts he tries to do, so that we're safe there. But
I think if she did, she wouldn't be scheduling him to go out during podcast time.
yeah, no.
What? It's Thursday night. Oh, I guess it is.
Yeah, we'll table that discussion for another time. You just saw The Expendables, Brian, as of this recording. What did you think?
I think the reviews sort of missed the point. The reviews are sort of poor to mediocre. They say that they expected more with all of these action heroes and wannabe action heroes on the screen. Well, I mean, the movie is a symphony of violence. Which is pretty much a testament to early to mid '80s action films. Action films really didn't get smart. Well, other than say like Rambo, didn't really get smart until like the late '80s, mid to late '80s, with like the coming of Die Hard. So it really does sort of fill that gap from like 82 to 85 of just mindlessly terrible violent films, and but it did it with a smile, so I kind of liked it.
Awesome.
But you know, it's the third basic movie this year we've had, which the Expendables, the Losers, and the A-Team, because they've all been trying to vie for that team movie niche, and they're all decent in their way. I can't. It's hard. I think I like the Losers the best. And going into the film season, I really expected the Losers to be my least favorite of the three. So,
yeah, Michael, what have you been up to since the last time? I don't know. When the hell? I think the last time you were on this show was episode 62. Yeah, the BotCon 2010 toy stuff. Yeah. So what have you been up to?
Today mostly yard work. Well, yeah, we had let the yard work go for about a month.
Oh, me too.
Yeah, well, we had other stuff to do, we've been busy, and I usually only get a chance to do it on the weekends, and though, again, our weekends have been packed. Well, tomorrow we've got our boys' birthday party. They're having their parties on the same day, they're not born on the same day, but their birthdays are close enough together where we just put the party in the middle. And the front yard is all overgrown and nasty, and his bushes are all untamed, and the backyard looks like a jungle. And it's just going to be too hot to have the party outside tomorrow, but it's most likely going to rain. But still had to go outside and make sure that the yard was presentable when people drove up. So lots of mowing and edging and trimming of bushes and just basically putting myself there out underneath the sun where I don't like to be.
Yes, if it's not a dark, damp room with, giant oak shelves filled with robots, then it's no place to be, really.
I don't know about damp, but everything else fits, yeah.
It's a cave. It's just a cave.
That's right. It's my man cave.
This
is where the men go to unwind.
Yes.
I have one of those. It's where I go to unwind and where my cats go to take a dump. So.
Oh, God. Ow.
I don't know how the heck you podcasted for 6 hours for SDCC in that room. Holy crap.
Yeah. I have a high tolerance for cat shit, so.
That sounds so wrong.
Yeah, see, I've got 3 cats, but if they started shitting in my room, they'd have to go. I love Fluffy, everyone loves Fluffy, but if Fluffy shits in my room, we can get a new Fluffy.
Oh, man. Before we get into the discussion topic, I wanted to bring up something. Michael, you posted a link on Twitter, and it's in the Skype chat. I think you should be able to see it, Brian, up there. Mickey D's is the devil.
What?
This was an article online from the Campaign for a Commercial-Free Childhood. I originally thought this was like a joke because it starts off just basically saying how horrible the Marvel-based Happy Meal toys are. Actually says the fast food giant's latest giveaway for preschool boys features 8 Marvel comic action figures. One, the Human Torch, is a man engulfed in flames. Another, the Thing, menacingly roars its clobberin' time at the press of a button. I'm thinking this is a valid description.
Yeah.
But it gets worse. It's like, during the current promotion, boys get violent action figures with their burger and fries, while girls are offered cutesy animals that bizarrely come with handbags. Where is the funny part? Well, no, it's just, if clobbering time is McDonald's idea of family fun, it's time to steer clear of the golden arches. And, I'm kind of thinking it's, Fantastic Four. Clearly it's a man on fire, but, but still, it's the Fantastic Four. For preschool boys, a so-called Happy Meal at McDonald's features the horrifying spectacle of a man on fire and a menacing figure that explicitly spurs them to violence. Like, it's clobbering time.
Did these people not have childhoods? I don't get this. Everyone knows who the Fantastic Four are.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And really, first of all, I'm sorry to interrupt you, Michael, and you, Brian, as well, but the problem I have with this, and one of our other followers on Twitter is Nightmax's mom. She pointed this out. The preschooler or toddler toys, as McDonald's calls them, they are never advertised. These are the regular 6, 7, 8-year-old regular Happy Meal toys. These aren't the little kiddie toys that the toddlers get and preschoolers get. They're not. These are what
right.
Every other child would get in a regular Happy Meal. Because you actually have to request a toddler toy or else they'll give you one of these things. These are not the worst Happy Meal toys ever. I've seen worse Happy Meal toys.
I think the problem there is that they are saying that the Happy Meal toys are being marketed to children with these toys, but they're kind of likening it to using cartoon characters to market cigarettes to little kids,
And what's wrong with that?
It's Johnny Bag of Glass. See, we have this bag. It's full of crushed glass, and the child then pours it on the floor and rolls in it. It's happy fun for everybody.
But again, yeah, but again, Nightmax's mom pointed out to us that, it's not the kids that go and buy this. It's the parents that say, oh, let's go to McDonald's, we're going to get you a Happy Meal. And they say, which, if you, say you have a son and a daughter, one gets the boy toy, one gets the girl toy. And half the time, if the girls get the boy toy, they put purses on it anyways. So it's not like it's, but it's the parents making the choice. It's not the children. So I don't see how whoever this person is that wrote up this little blog or article thing or whatever, I don't see how they can say it's kids' choice because they're not the one paying money for it. I mean, unless you're, over in China and your 3-year-old is earning slave labor at a penny a day or a penny an hour. I mean, seriously. I mean, this isn't like kids are, 3-4-year-old kids are going to McDonald's saying, I want that one with the big fiery guy that's on fire. And is that an actual picture of the toy? Because I seriously doubt that the toy itself for Human Torch has the flames around the red piece.
I think it does, yeah.
Does it really?
Yeah.
I have it.
Seriously?
That just happened to be the one that I got.
Wow. This is perfect timing for this little discussion. Holy crap.
I find that questionable.
Or it's Iron Man. I'm trying to remember. It was red and it was in the bottom of the bag when I got it.
Yeah, actually, there's a blog post that I wrote a couple of years back when it might have been a year now, but I forget exactly. But when the Transformers animated toys came to McDonald's,
yeah,
I basically mentioned it to my wife that, oh, hey, why don't we stop by McDonald's sometime and get a Happy Meal? And she's like, okay. So at the time we were out shopping, and she said, hey, why don't we run over to the McDonald's that's, it's like built into the Walmart or something. And I'm thinking, she's pregnant, she's hungry, I'm not going to tell her no. So we walk over there, and she said, well, I'm going to have a Happy Meal, and Aiden's going to have a Happy Meal, and what do you want? And I'm like, well, I guess I'll have a Big Mac. And she's like, no, you're having a Happy Meal. What kind of Happy Meal do you want? And I'm thinking, hell, I don't know, cheeseburger, sure, why not? And then it occurs to me, she's buying a whole bunch of Happy Meals in order to get the toys. Which was awesome because it's like best wife ever.
Yeah.
And she's just the worst of enablers, right? Because I have this horrible habit. But it turned out that particular McDonald's had all of them. And we bought 6 Happy Meal toys.
Nice.
Yeah, and I ate
Awesome.
like 4 hamburgers that day. Equally awesome.
That's like 1,200 calories in fun, so that's awesome.
Yeah, and I got all the toys, so that was sweet. I mean, it's better than like when I think Beast Machines was at Burger King.
Mm-hmm.
And I went to all the different Burger Kings like twice a week looking for the Beast Machines toys until I got them all. It was crazy. It's a sickness, honestly.
Yeah. Yes, it is. Do we have any other general chat stuff we want to get out of the way before we get into today's discussion topic?
Not really. I'm good.
I think we should break right here and head to McDonald's and get some Happy Meals.
It's too hot outside, damn it.
It is. Oh, it's raining here too.
Yeah,
I won't
it's
go out in the
raining
rain.
too. I had a brainstorm for this because I knew you guys were going to be on this episode, and I knew that when we get to discussion, it's pretty much you guys going to go back and forth, and I'll interject here and there, but I'm not really going to be a part of the discussion. But I had a brainstorm about 45 minutes ago for the title of this episode, and I already told Michael, and he kind of snickered at it, so I'll go ahead and say on the air, let our power cores combine.
Yeah.
Eh.
It sounds a little like Michael and I are going to get into some sort of, I don't know, sort of arrangement that I don't think either of us would approve of. So
No, it's about the toy. It's about the damn toy.
I'm married, and
yeah, me too.
No. See, see, it's that type of thinking that we have over on the Beast Unleashed, and we don't want that here. Oh God! See, I wasn't even thinking that. I was thinking of finding a way to incorporate the Captain Planet logo with Captain Planet saying with Transformers.
I'm so some people think I'm smart, but I'm really like this really shallow thinker. I don't really think beyond the obvious. So, yeah, that
Yeah,
makes sense.
how does Captain Planet tie in again?
Because they always said for him to come out, let our powers combine. So
Oh, I see.
add in let our power cores combine.
I see now. Yeah, I never watched Captain Planet.
It's bad when you have to explain the joke to the co-host, people.
Dude, Captain Planet. Alright? Seriously.
I know, but still.
When
Captain freaking Planet.
when
alright?
Captain Planet was coming on, I was like 12 years old, and my favorite show was the McLaughlin Group. So I really kind of missed most of that.
Oh boy. And on that note, let's get into the discussion topic. Power core combiners. Where do you guys want to start with this?
Michael, you want to go first?
Sure. Am I gonna cover a particular guy, or am I gonna cover the combiner?
You'll do the particular guy, like Smolder, when we get to the display case part, but I mean just power core combiners overall, as
In
far
general?
as in general, as far as what you guys think.
I do like them.
I think they're the best. I think they're the best thing in years.
Well, seeing as though all we've had in years is movie toys, then yeah,
And
I'd say
animated,
so.
and animated, and we've had animated in the last 2 or 3 years as well.
You know, I really like the animated toys. I mean, honestly, if all I had to choose from was movie and the occasional universe toy, or classics, let's say, then yeah, animated was clearly my favorite. But animated didn't do combiners, and I'm a combiner junkie. I mean, if it combines, I'll get it. I haven't got all them stupid Energon toys just because they would fold in half and you could put the deluxe Autobots together into one taller guy.
Power linking was awesome.
Exactly, and that, I mean, as bad as that line was, I still wanted to combine them just because I could. And when I first started, going back to collect, that's the first thing I started with, was all of the combiners. I just really like that concept, and the fact that you can get the whole set for $20. I don't want to say, oh, that's the icing on the cake, but yeah, it kind of is. Yeah, I love that, and what I really love is the fact that they all have Minicon ports.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a concept that I'm glad they didn't let die. I was afraid that, after like Armada, they kind of let that dwindle a bit with Energon. They had a few Minicons, but not really. And by the time you get the Cybertron, same thing, a few Minicons, but not really. And I thought, well, that idea is going to die on the vine. But these guys are just chock full of Minicon ports, and I want to say that I would almost support like a new Minicon line to go along with these.
I would support a new Minicon line for anything.
I love Minicons. Yeah, but I mean, wouldn't it be cool if, let's say, you've got your aerial bot team, and each limb can support a Minicon if you had let's say, a color coordinated Minicon team.
Ooh.
So you've got like a yellow one for the helicopter, and a white one for the plane, and a blue one for the helicopter, and they all kind of fit where they're supposed to go. But it would almost be like his arms are bigger, especially if you could get them so they combine in such a way where it would bulk up the shoulders or the arms, to make them look like it's not only boosting their power, as far as their power levels, but also would boost them physically. My problem is I can't get them to stand up once I put Minicons on them. I can get them to stand regularly, but you stick Minicons on their shoulders and they're falling. They're gonna tip right over.
I haven't tried, but I can see that. It's like they're just perched there precariously, and it just seems like they wouldn't balance out too well.
Right.
Depending on maybe some of the smaller mini cons might work, but some of the bulkier mini cons.
They look funny that way because the mini cons are almost as big as the limbs themselves. I mean, when they're in vehicle mode, I want to say that the vehicle modes are supposed to be the size of Legends, but they're just a hair bigger than the mini cons. I put out a couple photos on Twitter. I want to say last week, and one of them was the Combaticon. Yeah, the Combaticon limbs in vehicle mode with mini-cons on top. And the second one was the aerial bot limbs with mini-cons on top of them. And, I was trying to be snarky, but I think I commented with, Yo Dog, I heard you like mini-cons, so we put mini-cons on your mini-cons.
Yes,
So
that's what the post was.
Yeah, and, they look cool that way. But literally, it's a helicopter with a helicopter on top of it.
I just have to interject here really quick before you guys go any further. You guys are talking about how awesome mini-cons are. I stop at Soundwave and Blaster's tapes. That's about the closest I come to Cassetticons or mini-cons or whatever. And I would love to see a Blaster versus Soundwave Cassetticon fight. Whether it be in comic form, whether it be in an animated series, whether it be
Headmasters.
Huh?
Watch Headmasters.
I
Yeah,
was going to say, didn't they have that on the movie?
Barely. I mean, it was like a 5-second scene when Rumble and all them descended into the little top, all that. But I mean, it wasn't even that long of a scene. I'm saying like a 3-part episode or something just dedicated to those two teams.
Dude, the best fight ever in Transformers is Soundwave versus Blaster from like episode 4 of Headmasters. They pull out all these crazy wrestling moves and it ends and they both die. It's like the best thing ever.
I was going to say, is that the one where they die?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's too bad they couldn't have actually done that in G1 instead of some stupid fan dub.
It's not. They died in the actual original animation. I mean, the original Japanese. Soundwave blows up and Blaster turns gray and passes away.
Sweet. Yeah, that was epic.
So I guess all Decepticons blow up and all Autobots turn gray.
It's entirely possible. I really haven't thought about it, but
well, they bring them back anyway. So.
Yeah.
All
right, so back to the power core things.
Power core combiners.
I love power core combiners. Michael's right. I mean, they're cheap. They combine and they have mini cons. I mean, it's like, how can you not love these things? To top it off, the toys, they're not all awesome. Like Skyburst he's pretty good, but he's kind of like a gigantic G2 Cyberjet. Bomb Shock is pretty darn awesome. I don't have Double Clutch or Mudslinger yet, but Double Clutch looks to be pretty great. Mudslinger, it's Constructicons. They're called Destructicons, but it's like G1-tastic. The Rally Bots look great. I really can't wait for a Stunticon repaint set. It's the most interesting thing they've done with Transformers in a long time. I absolutely love the toys in Transformers Animated, but it's because almost entirely due to their visual aesthetic, where the play value, and yes, play value. I buy toys because they're fun. The play value of Power Core Combiners is as strong as we've had since Transformers Armada. And the stuff like this is why I collect Transformers and why I love being a Transformers fan, because they're just great. It's that breath of fresh air that I've been waiting years for, because we've had movie shit. And while I really loved Universe 2.0 and Classics, the toys were nice and they were okay, but they didn't do anything new. These do something new.
Right. I
Yeah.
like the gimmick. And just to drill down a little bit, what do you think of the mini cons? I mean, I personally, I I feel like they've kind of gotten mini cons right in a sense because in Armada, you ended up with mini cons that would have a secondary weapon mode, or like a secondary
Something
gun
approaching
mode.
one.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
Leader One was basically, Leader One strapped on Megatron, but you could pretend that he's a gun, or you could just pretend that he's Leader One strapped on Megatron.
Yeah, something like that. But I mean, like with these guys, they have a robot mode, the passable robot mode, let's say. They've got a weapon mode, which is like a personal melee weapon, right?
Yeah.
Or or in some cases a gun or something. But it's a weapon that the robot can use. And they have an armor mode, questionable, right? Which is an armor that the robot can use, and then they have a weapon mode for the vehicle to use. And you've only got so much plastic to work with here, so it can only pull off each one reasonably well, passably, let's say.
They seem to
But
pull. They seem to design it with each one with one of those modes in mind. One may be a great robot, one may be a great melee weapon, and one may be a great vehicle weapon or armor.
right, well, yeah, I mean, but the fact that they can do all four is pretty impressive. The only downside is that, unlike any other minicon, they don't have a vehicle mode.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
I've been so blinded by the fact that they're weapons that I really haven't even thought of that. That is totally
but
true.
well, no, I dig it, and I think that the downside of the 5-packs is that they don't come with minicons. I like the individual commanders having minicons, and especially with like Huffer. I've got him with his minicon on his chest, and the Searchlight has his minicon on his chest. I really like the translucent plastic in armor mode, and the damn it, and here I am forgetting his name all of a sudden. Smolder. Smolder has Chopster on his chest, which is very, very cool. But when you get to the 5-packs, number one, they don't come with a minicon, and number two, the way that they're set up, they don't have minicon ports on their chest. So,
Well,
like, Bomb Shock has a minicon port on the back of his head and on his guns in the back, which means you could attach a guy to his back where you couldn't see him, and the guns would have to face straight up. And with Skyburst, he's got a minicon port on his back, but again, if you put, like, let's say, who's the other one? Caliburst is the one that looks cool in armor mode. You put Caliburst on Bomb Shock's back, you're not going to see him. It's not going to do you much good. So, I mean, like I said, I don't think the 5-packs were made with minicons in mind, and yet, by the time you get to Season 3, they're going to repaint Skyburst and Bomb Shock and give them somebody else's minicons.
yeah. I mean, Power Core Combiners is definitely a first effort. They don't really have the magic down yet. It's a great concept, but we'll probably see a better execution if this is actually a new play pattern. If this is something they decide to stick with for a few years, I would expect them to leverage minicon ports and such more effectively later on. Everything you're saying makes sense.
But again, I really like the way that they combine. In fact, I don't even have my the limbs on their respective commanders. I took the aerial bots off of Skyburst and put them on to Searchlight because I think he looks cool. Well, number one, he can wear a minicon on his chest, and two, I like the helicopter blades. He's got helicopter blades in his armpits. It's which is I find that cool. I don't know. And I've
Spike
got
the motor in half.
you can air out the pits with the fan blades. And my Combaticons are sitting on Smolder. And if you haven't done that yet, do it because it looks badass.
I'm a little bit OCD, and I know I shouldn't be, because I talk about how fun these toys are, then I play with them or display them just like Hasbro sent them to me in the package. By sent to me, I mean, put them in the package in the store. So it's like, I don't really want to mix them, because it's kind of like getting gravy in my Kool-Aid or in my ice cream. It's just like, oh, I don't know if I want to do that.
Don't do
But
that.
maybe if I could take some sort of antidepressant or something and just sort of make my way into that realm and actually do that, and that sounds even better.
That's a lot of the fun, to be honest. I mean, because you've got 5 commanders, but only 2 sets of limbs, at least in Wave 1, right? So it makes sense that you would give the other commanders limbs to play with. And I passed them around a little bit. I gave limbs to Huffer. I didn't.
I have done that.
I see. I didn't think he looked all that good. I mean, because like Huffer is literally, you fold his arms up and give him a new head. It's still Huffer. He's got the same chest and everything. Smolder doesn't look like Smolder. Because in Combiner mode, you take his arms and fold them up into like these great big huge shoulders. These huge shoulder pads. And especially once you stick the Minicon in armor mode on his chest, he looks like a different animal completely. Kind of like with Bomb Shock. Bomb Shock in Combiner mode doesn't look anything like Bomb Shock in just regular robot mode. They look like they could be 2 separate robots. And to a certain extent, Skyburst does the same thing, but only because, everything on his back swivels around and sits on his sides. To a certain extent, you get that effect. But no, to my opinion, Huffer and Searchlight, too, for the most part, pretty much just look like their robot modes, except, with Minicons hanging off them.
Yeah, that is very true. And probably that's the reason that they were packed solo, is that's how the designers originally intended them to be. I think later on, I don't know, at BotCon, do you remember seeing any Wave 3 picks where they start packaging like Smolder? Isn't Smolder going to be put in like a Protectobot set or something, or that's the rumor? That's the rumor.
Yeah, the I'm not sure exactly who they're going to package him with, but yeah, the rumor is that he's going to end up as an Autobot repaint. The Searchlight is going to end up as a repaint in like gray and red with gold propellers, and I think that looks sharp. But that the other 2 are going to end up either in a 5-pack or repainted too.
What I don't understand is if Hasbro is making this new line of Power Core combiners and all this stuff and whatever else, I don't understand why is by Wave 3 that they're already making repaints of the same characters? Why not make new characters?
Well, that's the beauty of it, is that they are repainting the commanders from the 5-packs.
But you're not getting anything new. It's just a repaint of a toy you already have.
Are you asking why they're not calling these new characters, or why aren't they making new toys?
I'm asking why, yeah, but it's a combination of both. Why aren't they going to make new toys for Wave 3 that are new characters that can go along with Smolder and whoever else?
Well, they are. They are doing both. They're creating new toys, because, they've got like 3 or 4 different molds that are coming out on top of the repaints. And then the repaints are, it's not a new Bomb Shock with new colors, it's a new character. They're going to call him Steel Shot. And the Aerial Bot repaint, they're going to name him Dark Scream.
Okay. Again, like I said, I'm so not interested in this crap.
That's the cool thing. There's so much stuff out there, you don't have to be. If you want to buy movie stuff, there's movie stuff. If you want to buy Generations, there's Generations.
I think all three of us can agree, and all three of us don't really like it. But the movie line, for me, outside of Ravage, the movie line, I want nothing to do with that crap either.
Well, I mean, it depends on what you call the movie line. I mean,
Revenge of the Fallen.
Well, there are toys that have been labeled Revenge of the Fallen that have been, fantastic, like Bludgeon. I mean, the design aesthetic is not movie at all, but it was released that way. I mean, it's a great toy. I mean, just because it's movie inspired or movie packaging, doesn't mean that it's movie necessarily.
No, I mean specific movie line toys like Skids and Mudflap, RC, Optimus.
Masterpiece. Leader Class Optimus is great. He's a great piece. I don't know if I'm going to say a great toy. One of my favorite toys recently is actually Legends Class Wheelie. It's like the closest thing to a mini bot that we're going to get in the movie line, and he's fantastic. I love that little thing.
The remote control car?
Yes.
Oh my God, you're kidding.
No, I love that toy. Not the Scout, but the Legends.
Yeah,
toy.
the little tiny one. Yeah.
Yeah.
I need one to hump somebody's leg.
Oh no! I mean, I freaking hate the character from the movie. I mean, I think it's stupid, but
just the toy itself, though.
The toy itself is great. I can separate the two. I mean, like Drift is the worst character of anything ever, but his toy is brilliant. It's one of the best toys like I can remember in years.
It is a fun toy. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I've bought some of the movie line. Like I've got Revenge of the Fallen and Thrust here on my desk, because hey, it's a Thrust. I mean, he's Thrust. Come on. Pretty much anything that's like a G1 homage, I'll pick that up. Things like that. But for the most part, I shy away from the movie line. I'm just not a big fan of the Bayformers. And, like you mentioned, there's a lot of the toys here that look more like, G1 toys rather than stuff you'd find in the movie. Or even homages to other lines like the Lockdown.
Yes, Lockdown's great. I love
he's
that
awesome.
toy.
Yeah. I really like that too. And a lot of the Scout class figures look a lot more like, I would say, Cybertron toys than anything else. Mm-hmm. So I picked some of those up. Okay, fine. I picked them all up. But that's
Talk about OCD.
I know, that's my personal vice. I just picked up was it Crankshaft and Hubcap the other day too, and they look pretty good too. Mm. I like them, and for the most part, except for that ugly face, they could pass for classics toys.
Yeah.
But again, to digress, if you are not interested whatsoever in movie toys, right about now, you either have a choice between, the 4 Generations toys that have come out so far, and, the dozen or so that are going to come out for the rest of the year, or Power Core Combiners. And, for people who don't like the movie or don't like Power Core Combiners, well, your wallet thanks you, because, you have a very limited selection of what you can buy over the next year. But no, I dig the Power Core Combiners, and I think I'm, just looking over the pictures here, like Ice Pick, oh, he's awesome. I mean, that's terribly cool. And, some of these are just really neat. And the repaints, I'll take it or leave it, but when they start coming out with really inspired stuff, like Smolder repainted as Hotspot, with Protectobot limbs, I'm going to go buy that.
Yeah,
I'm really surprised more people don't. Yeah. In fact, I was listening to. I've been trying to catch up to with all of my Radio Free Cybertron episodes lately, and on a recent one, I think you had mentioned that I forget who you were talking with, but they were at the SDCC, and they said that at the Hasbro panel at the San Diego Comic-Con, people didn't react well to the Power Core Combiners.
Yeah, Jack was there from T-Formers, and he said people were walking away. And I mean, Power Core Combiners, they're geared toward two people. They're geared toward Transformers diehards and kids. At BotCon, how many BotCons have you been to?
Probably about 8.
Okay, so you've seen the change over the years where it was mostly hardcore nerds, and as probably the last 3 or 4 years, it's like a lot of average normal people.
Well,
And
since the movies came out, yeah, definitely.
well, even before the movies, 2005, I remember like, wow, there are a lot of normal looking people here that I would never expected to see at BotCon. Those people are gearing or trending toward the Transformers nerd, but the people at SDCC, they could care less. They want to see G1 or they want to see movie stuff, and if it's not G1 themed or movie themed, they don't care. And I think Power Core Combiners will be great amongst kids and amongst this 20th percentile of Transformers fans who are really into it.
Right. Well, I think to a certain extent, Hasbro dropped the ball here by not renaming more of these guys as G1 counterparts. Like, they threw Huffer in there, which was cool because he looks, in vehicle mode, he looks a lot like, I want to say that BotCon Huffer. He could tie that in there. As far as like Bomb Shock goes, could they have named Bomb Shock Onslaught and gotten away with it?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. Onslaught and the Combaticons. The same thing with your Hotshot, or Hotspot, I should say, repaint of Smolder. Will they call him Hotspot? Probably not. But He's blue, and he's a rescue truck, and he's got Protectobots on his arms and legs. You'll be able to put 2 and 2 together.
Yeah. Oftentimes they lose the name. Actually, I vaguely think that even though they used it recently, they might have lost Onslaught. I read somewhere that they may have actually lost the Onslaught name.
I'm looking over at the Titanium repaint of Robots in Disguise Prime, and he was renamed as Hot Zone.
Hot Zone, yeah.
Yes, I don't think they have Hot Spot anymore.
I know back in 02, 03, for OTFCC, they wanted to repaint Red Prime into Hot Spot, and that just looked fantastic, but it never got off the ground.
Oh, that died with the Hartmans.
Yeah.
I should say the Hartman BotCon. The 3H BotCon, I should say. Then, oddly, that was supposed to come out the same year as their Armada Megatron repaint into a Mega Zarak.
Mega Zarak, yeah, that was OTFCC. That was actually post Hartman's.
Oh, was it?
That was OTFCC 04.
I thought that was the last Hartman.
No, because
actually they didn't release that until after. I mean, they were supposed to have sold that at that BotCon,
but it came out after. That's when Glenn Hallett was running it, and there were just a lot of financial issues and things with the shipments. I remember at the end of OTFCC 03, which is the first official convention that I was actually able to make to the whole thing instead of just a day of it. They showed it in the organizers panel, and I was just so stoked to get it. Yeah. And I wasn't able to go to 04, but I ended up getting it around the same time the actual convention goers got it, like a couple weeks after the show.
Right. I didn't get it until much later, just because I didn't feel like waiting for it. And so if I can't get it here, I'm not going to bother. I ended up picking one up years later. But
that's one of my favorite molds ever. So, I had to have it.
I just like that you could cover it in mini-cons.
Yes. Fantastic.
As much grief as people give Armada Optimus, the fact that his rear end, if it didn't catch your house on fire, could become a base for all your mini-cons, I thought that was just the coolest thing ever.
Poor
Stata. He's not my favorite toy, but I love the deluxe toy. I think it's a better toy. But yeah, how mini-con capable the oh gosh, what was that size class? Supreme, or was it Supreme? Whatever it was called back then. That was cool. Well, no, Unicron was Supreme, I guess, but whatever size class Optimus was.
No, he wasn't Supreme. He was whatever passed for leader class back then. And I don't know what that was called at the time.
I
That's
forgot.
a Monzo question.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, no, Unicron. Oh, you could just coat him in minicons. I mean,
Am I the only one that wants the? I really, really want the G1 colored Unicron that's coming out in Japan.
out of Japan?
I really want. I can't justify it, but I want it so badly.
I would love one, but for like $200, I don't think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. The same. Well, to a certain extent, Primus too. I like the Primus, the Cybertron colored Primus.
I don't like his feet, so I never warmed up to that toy because I just can't stand his feet.
Oh, I would take that one just to pose him in my room in Cybertron mode. No, he looks really cool. But yeah, no, I really do like that. Orange sickle Unicron out of Japan.
Yeah, it's just so nerd-tastic. I love it.
It is great. Yeah. Anyway, Power Core Combiners. So, yeah, I think we've beaten this horse to death as far as the Wave 1 stuff goes. But what I would totally get behind let's say a $10 price point, or let's say a deluxe size price point 4-pack of limbs, just limbs, like a set of, let's say red, red and white and black and yellow colored Combaticons that you could combine with Smolder, let's say.
Ooh, it's like troop building or like a weapons pack from Masters of the Universe.
Exactly.
Ooh.
Well, yeah. Well, then each of your, not just your 5-packs, but each of your commanders then can have a color coordinated team. And, you could have a blue set of aerial bots just for bomb or Skyburst. But let's say, I'm not really happy with these guys on him. You could pass him over or pass all of those over to Searchlight, and they would look just as good because, they're roughly the same shades.
That's true. Absolutely. That's great. You're a genius, sir. I love that.
Ha! Well, my other idea was Minicon 4-packs that would go along with your combiner teams. So, again, let's say you've got your not the Destructicons. They have a set that's coming out. We saw them at BotCon, and I want to say they were like Destructicons, but they're not the Destructicons that I saw in the picture here. Like, they were literally, they were like all gray or all black. I mean, they did have that team color where the whole team was a very like dark gray or black color. And it would be interesting to have a set of minicons that were in similar colors. I mean, or like I said, let's say with the existing aerial bot set, if you have a yellow minicon that could plug on top of the helicopter, or a blue minicon, gunmetal blue minicon that would sit on top of the blue helicopter, or something like that, so that if you don't have, for whatever reason, your limbs in limb mode, you can then have minicons on top of them in robot mode. And honestly, they've already got hundreds of minicons to choose from. You could just, take whatever from the Armada line and repurpose them.
Yes, they do.
If each of your guys has 4 to 6 minicon ports, it's kind of a layup.
Yeah.
And it's mix and match.
Yeah. No, I personally, though, as much as I would love to see more minicons, I would prefer to see like a 4-pack at the deluxe price point of limbs, color coordinated for different commanders. Like, if you had a 4-pack of, let's say, beige and olive colored, aerial bots, or even a set of Combaticons that were color coded for Huffer, you'd have your Huffer in combined mode all the time.
And speaking of Huffer, let's get to him now.
Let our powers combine. Earth, fire, wind, water, by your powers combined, I am Captain Planet. Go Planet!
It is now time for the display case segment. Mr. Kilby, who will you be talking about today?
Power Core Combiners Huffer. Huffer and Caliburst were actually the first two Power Core Combiners we saw leaked from 4chan back in, January. There were the pictures, it was a picture of the packaging with a picture of the toy inside of the packaging to sort of get sort of a test of what the toy would look like on shelves. And there's so much speculation after that was released. But the one thing that was clear is, well, minicons are back, and they're frickin' weapons. And because of that, and because of all the conjecture and everything, I'm kind of biased towards this toy. I kind of fell in love with it before I even had it. So, but I have him. I opened it up, and I think he's a great toy. He has sort of, for me, I always go back to Beast Machine's Optimus Primal, who may not be the best Transformer ever, but he's a great action figure. Huffer is very playable in robot mode. I mean, for his size class, he has about all the articulation you could expect. His robot mode is great looking. It's very Cybertron, or very at least Unicron trilogy in its look, where all of the other toys kind of have their own sort of feel. I think Double Clutch kind of looks kind of like a cross between Universe 2.0 and maybe Cybertron. Same thing for Bob and Shock. Skyburst is very G2, Cyber Jetty. Mudslinger is very sort of Energon crap looking. But Huffer is very Cybertron, Energon looking. I think he looks really nice. Caliburst, though, I like the fact that he turns into a gun, and I just dropped him. Where did he go? He's on my desk here. Here he is. I'm sitting here playing with him during our conversation. Like, he's such a fun toy. His robot mode's okay. He has this ginormous gun on his left arm that, in a way, seems cool, but in a way, it just sort of sticks out because it's longer than his leg. If his gun were a little bit longer, farther down his arm, he could actually use it as a crutch.
Wait, his gun is longer than his leg? Uh-oh, that's going to be one of those most inappropriate Transformers toys. Yikes.
Well, it's not as inappropriate as Searchlight's minicon name, which they want you to say backwind, but it's totally backwind.
Totally.
So, yeah. Huffer's transformation's simple. It's not really complicated. It does something a little different, at least for the toy in the size class. You always expect the shoulders to flip forward or up. These actually flip down his back. And his arms sort of form kind of like almost like a backpack for the truck. It's really different. The transformation is very kind of novel, but the robot or the vehicle mode's about as generic as you can get. It's not that great. As Michael pointed out during the earlier discussion, he doesn't really his robot mode is not really conducive to Power Core combining mode. He doesn't look that great when you combine him with the limbs from the other sets. I mean, it's considering the line he's in, his Power Core combiners, you do kind of expect the robots to look good in combined mode. He is a little bit lacking there, but because he's sort of my sentimental favorite for various reasons, more than I can even get into on the podcast. I'm just totally enamored with this toy. I love it to pieces. I hope they repaint it 10 times over. I will buy each one. Kind of like I wanted Energon RC when they released that the motorcycle. I will buy any iteration of this mold that they make. I think it's great.
What do you think of that combiner head?
Oh gosh, let me pull it out.
Again,
Yeah, I
that
know.
sounds so
I know.
wrong.
It's very reminiscent of. I'm not really so much into like the Japanese cinema, but it's kind of like Sentai samurai sort of looking strange kabuki head thing. I don't know. But I do like the fact that it does have the light piping where his eyes light up when when the light's in there. But just the look, yeah, it's a little Mighty Morphin Power Rangers for me. But I don't think I would ever use the head. I think even in combined mode, I would just use the hover head. And I would just let him be, kind of like a punch counter punch with the itty bitty teeny tiny little head.
Oh, yeah, you threw me off there. I'm like, oh, yeah, totally missed out on that second offering.
Don't.
Actually,
Nobody should buy that toy. I'm sorry. And the only reason why no one should buy that toy and spend all that money on that is because of the tiny friggin' head. Ugh.
I thought the same thing until I actually saw it in person at BotCon, and it looks so nice.
I've seen video reviews of him, and I just... The head is way too small. If they would have found a way with that Sunstreaker Sidewipe mold to... Sideswipe, not Sidewipe. If they found a way for the Sunstreaker Sideswipe mold to get more into the car and have a slightly larger head, it would be better. But, I mean, you can barely see his head over his windshield.
Even if you could pop his head off, I would live for that.
Pop his head off.
Or just flip his head around. I mean, it'd be kind of ghetto, but I would take it. But it looks really nice in person. It really does.
It does.
But I don't want to spend $60 on it.
No.
I was so gonna buy one too, and they sold out in like 15 minutes. They totally Maddie collected us there.
Yeah. Let's not go there.
I was worried they were going to do that with the San Diego Comic-Con stuff, but they were smart. They actually released Blaster in waves, so I was able to snag a Blaster.
I gotta say, between the two websites, between Hasbro Toy Shop, and I know we're getting off topic here, Hasbro Toy Shop and Matty Collector, Hasbro Toy Shop does a hell of a lot better with their SDCC exclusive stuff than Matty Collector does.
Damn right it does. It's so much better.
The only one, and I wasn't really thrilled with this now that I've seen a video review of the SDCC stuff, and again, I know we're getting way off topic here, but everyone knows I'm a Mighty Mug fanatic, so of course I had to get Prowl. So I got him, but I looked at the SDCC Iron Man and I'm thinking, well, holy crap, it's just the Mark 6, which I just got that, and they made the faceplate fold up, and they have a face underneath it. I just couldn't pull the trigger on that, and of course now that one's sold out, but whatever.
Oh, that's huge, though. I mean, a Mighty Mug figure with a face mask? That's crazy.
With an articulated face under it, I agree, it is huge. I'm not saying it isn't, but I just couldn't pull the trigger on him.
Huh. Too bad.
Yes, so getting back to Huffer here, anything else you want to say about Huffer, Brian?
I loves it to pieces. I really can't. I can't really articulate.
He has late night rendezvous with it, folks.
No, it's his power core combiner port's a little too small.
Oh God! Wow, that sounds like something XV would say to you.
More than you realize.
Oh, that's very, very sad. Okay, on that note, yeah. Michael, which one will you be talking about this evening?
I think I like Smolder the best so far. And I'll tell you why. I dig him because, first off, he's a fire truck. And he's a Decepticon fire truck that catches things on fire. And how could you not dig that? I mean, like right on the side of the fire truck, there's a Decepticon insignia with fire coming off it. It's like the Ghost Rider flaming skulls of Decepticon insignias, which I thought was just terribly, terribly cool. He's got a decent amount of paint apps in vehicle mode. It actually says fire on the side, which is kind of funny because he catches things on fire. But what I really dig about him is that his robot mode, and I mentioned this earlier, his robot mode and his combined mode are completely different. Two separate animals. In robot mode, he's got like great big huge vertical shoulders. And his legs kind of come down, and he's got big substantial heels, which I love. The heel in most robot modes is very underrated. The fact that you can stand a figure up and not have to worry about him falling over backward is very important, at least to me anyway. And this guy's got an awful lot of heel behind his foot, which I dig. He's got a minicom port on his chest that actually folds in and out, which is kind of neat. So if you want, to put your Chopster in armor mode, you can then pop out this minicom port and just plug him in. If you don't want him in armor mode, well, then you fold the minicom port down and no one's any the wiser. That's a couple of things that would have been neat to see in Skyburst and Bomb Shock, because they don't have minicom ports on their chest. Knowing that they were going to repaint those as 2-packs, it probably would have been a good idea to include something like that in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, would have been nice, but neither here nor there. As far as Smolder goes, I like his head. It's actually kind of like on a little ball joint, so he can look up and turn around and look around. But it looks, I want to say almost like a little fireman's helmet. And then he's got like a little mask over his mouth. So he kind of looks like a fireman. And then when you put him in combined mode, his head, it's a lot bigger, but it kind of looks to me like a TIE fighter pilot.
Oh, wow.
Huh.
Yeah. I mean, Brian, you concur? What do you think?
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, I mean, he kind of looks like a TIE fighter pilot. And he's got, again, the really nice yellow light piping. So, I mean, I dig his combined mode head. I think that's kind of neat. But at the same time, I dig the little one, too, his little fire helmet. In combined mode, the shoulders then flip up into, they're still substantial shoulders, but, I mean, they're horizontal. So they have an awful lot of room for the minicons off to the side. And what I really dig about this guy, as far as his combined mode, is that everything clips into place. You bring that shoulder up horizontally, and there's a little nub on his shoulder, on his robot mode shoulder, that if you click it into place, it just fits right there. And then when you bring his robot arms around to his back, there's a little nub, let's say, on his forearm that plugs into a little hole on his back.
Mm-hmm. Huffer's the same way. I think that's like an aesthetic that the designers are keeping, at least across the deluxe toys.
I kind of was kind of upset with Huffer because he didn't clip nearly as nicely. He's got a little hole for his forearm that plugs in there, but I think I would have liked it if there was something on like where his hands are. Mm-hmm. His hands just kind of rest on his shoulder there. I think I would have preferred it if there was like something that would plug into his hand there, so it would hold a little tighter. Where not to get too far off topic, but like Bomb Shock, everything clips in tight on him. Skyburst, I mean, the blue fins kind of fold around and fold underneath his chest, and then actual pieces from the wings fold around and plug in on top of that. He's very tight. So I mean, and if he's if these combiner commanders are going to hold up limbs in this mode, they're gonna have to be tight and hold everything together. That's kind of one of my complaints with the Energon combiners, is that the shoulders aren't meant to hold entire scout-sized figures up.
Yeah.
At least not very well. But no, these guys, well, for the most part, especially Smolder, everything locks in tight. The arms come around to the back and clip in place really tightly. It's just really well made. They really put a lot of thought into this. And the legs actually look different in combined mode than they do in robot mode. They actually flip sideways and fold up. So that's one of the things I didn't like about Huffer, is that in combined mode, his legs are just his legs. The same thing to a certain extent with Skyburst on the Aerobot team. His legs are just his legs. Not so much with Bomb Shock. They do flip around and do something different. And to a certain extent with Searchlight, his legs turn sideways and lock in place. But yeah, Smolder, the legs flip over upside down, turn sideways, and it's like, if you have, right now I've got Smolder in front of me for review purposes, and half of him is in robot mode and the other half is in combined mode. So I think he if you kind of put a hand over or whatever over each side, he looks completely different.
Yeah, I don't know, and I've been, the funny thing is, now that we're doing Power Car Combiners and Brian's talking about Huffer and you're talking about Smolder, I don't think I've ever liked Huffer at all, regardless whether it's the toy or whatever cartoon he's been in, because I've seen him in G1 and he is so freaking negative. He's almost like, he's a whiny version of Gears.
That's, yeah.
He's like, oh, this is never gonna work. And Gears is like, oh, this ain't never gonna work. But...
Whiny smirk.
Yeah.
I mean, he was nice in, what was it? Was it a Prime Problem? Was that the episode where he... no. Whichever episode it was where Megatron beat the unholy shit out of Optimus. Huffer. I'll take the trailer. Yeah. But I mean, the early episodes, just in general, he's such a whiny little bitch. Oh boy. Do we have anything else we want to say about either of these toys? They rock.
They do rock. I don't think we talked much about the minicons, but I've got Chopster in axe mode now in Smolder's hands, and he looks really cool. It's an axe with Gatling guns on it. How badly does that rule?
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's not bad enough you just chop the guy's arm off, but then you're gonna shoot him with Gatling guns on top of that. It's like, dude, I'm just totally gonna add insult to injury here.
All right, so I think that's going to do it for us for this episode. Brian, do you have anything you want to promote? Is anything going on over at RFC? Did you guys land an interview with Scott McNeil or anything like that?
I've got an interview that I'm working on. I don't think anyone... Well, probably there are not that many people on Earth who wanted to interview this guy more than me. So I've been contacting him. I contacted him a year ago. And he just now got back to me. Apparently, he's been busy, so we're working on interviewing him. I'll mention that on RFC here in a couple of weeks after we actually speak with him. But I don't know that anyone besides me will care. But this is one of the. everyone wants to interview Peter Cullen or Frank Welker, those sort of guys. Me, I'm way more niche than that. It's like there may be one or two people like in G1. The only person I ever care to talk to would be Michael Bell, really, because he's hilarious. Beast Wars. Scott McNeil is awesome. Basically, most of the cast from Beast Wars is great. But this is from another series, someone I've been wanting to speak with for years, and it should pan out here in a couple of weeks.
Awesome. Yeah, you mentioned everyone wants to interview Frank Welker. Honestly, if we ever got an audio interview with him, I wouldn't know where to begin. My brain would melt trying to talk to him because, hello, the animal guy and voiceovers. I mean, he's done and it's not just every big thing. It's not just G1. This guy shows up everywhere.
Everywhere.
I mean, it's like it's the Matrix or something. It's like all encompassing, and holy crap!
No, it's just one iteration after another of Uni. It's like, can you do the Uni again? Okay, great, just do that one. Yeah.
Do you have any blog posts you want to promote, Michael? Any upcoming stuff you're going to write about?
Oh, sadly, I haven't done any blog posts at all lately, and I know to a certain extent, I kind of feel bad about that, but it's like, what's been going on lately? No, not a whole lot. I'm mowing the lawn.
You've been on a majority of ToyCast since episode 7, a majority of them. You were on episode 14 to 24 of TFG1. You're going to be on all 30 episodes of Beast Unleashed. Hello, it's time to get that podcasting post done.
I've been thinking about that too, and I think what I'm going to do is like write up a really big post about what what I've done and why I did it and how I did it, and then at the very end say, okay, and now I'm retiring from podcasting. Thanks, everybody.
It's funny. I'm actually trying to think of stuff that you and Steve and I can do after Beast Unleashed, and I can't think of anything.
No, I pretty much have a very limited selection of things that I'm interested in.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard. And for me, it's like I can't really do movie review stuff because I'm just not that interested in movies. I never go out to see movies at the theater. And I never see a movie more than once. So it's like if I've already seen it, I'm not going to watch it again, for review purposes. Unless it's like, Transformers, in which case I'll watch it over and over and over again.
You mean the original movie, right? Not those crappy Bayformer films.
When my son Aiden was born, when you have these late night feedings at 3 a.m. and such, I would sit up and watch the 1986 movie, and I probably watched it maybe a dozen times, just during feedings.
Yeah.
I'd feed him, and he'd eat and fall asleep, and then I'd hit stop and fall asleep myself. And 3 hours later, he'd wake up again. He'd already be there. I'd pick him up, make him some formula and feed him again. Turn the movie back on, and I'd watch it. To spice things up, I'd watch it with different commentaries, and I've watched that movie so many times.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't do that with other movies, aside from like Star Wars, let's say, the original. But for most other movies, I won't watch them again.
Yeah. I just recently rewatched the 86 movie, and I'm actually, off and on, I've been going through the Matrix box set from Shout Factory, so I think I'm up to like disc 2 at this point, but I haven't gotten too far into it, and I'm noticing, and this is slightly off topic since we're going to close the show here in a minute, but they didn't really remaster a whole lot, because in the episode of, the Skyfire episode, it's either Fire in the Sky or, I don't know, it's one of those early episodes in G1, in Season 1, where Prime and a couple of the other ones get captured. I think it was the one with the Incan Temple in the Andes Mountains. Prime, in the original Rhino sets, is blue at one point, and in the Shout Factory set, he's still blue. So I'm not sure how remastered or recolored or whatever the hell that Shout Factory supposedly did to these things it's still the same print.
I don't think they've gone back and changed problems with the animation, but they may have gone back and cleaned up the colors. So whereas, over the last 20 odd years, the colors may have degraded, and he's no longer blue. Now he's more of a very light, dirty blue. Or they came in and said, well, that's not color what he's supposed to be. Let's update all the colors and clean this up a bit.
Well,
So, I mean, if he's blue in 1984, he's going to be blue now. Yeah. He's just going to be a brighter, happier blue than what he was, let's say, 5 years ago on the original.
That's the way I would want it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, like, what was it? The Rhino sets that replaced all the sound effects with newer sound effects.
Yeah. I don't want that.
Yeah, it's like, no, I could do without that. I mean, I didn't mind it. It wasn't awful terrible, but, don't mess with it.
That's the one thing I've noticed about the Shout Factory set. On those interstitials, like when Victor Crowley says, Transformers will be back after these messages, and you see Jazz or whoever it is, there's no sound effects, thank God. Because on the Rhino ones, I specifically remember I was hoping to hear the transformation sound on the Rhino ones when the Optimus Prime interstitial comes up and he transforms from truck to robot, and it's that same weird Rhino sound effect. It's not the transforming sound. But those are gone out of the Shout Factory set, thank God. So I guess on that note, I guess we can close this unless you guys want to say anything else.
I'm good, I think. I don't know. Join the voicemail.
No, don't. Shut up. Oh, yeah, since you brought that up, I'm going to call you under the bus. I recently, as of this episode, I haven't received it yet, but I recently won a YouTube contest, my first ever YouTube contest. PR in a contest for a animated Rodimus, and I won it. And I commented, and of course my YouTube stuff is connected to Facebook. Michael here comments on the thing and says, and I'm looking right at it, hey, congrats, looks like you finally get one before everyone else in the country. I'm thinking, what? What the hell is wrong with you? That's like so negative.
Well, no, because, if you understand what happened with
RC.
Blanchard and RC, yeah, I mean, literally, I think you were the last guy in the country to get RC.
Yeah, probably.
But yeah, I mean, the RC was gone from everywhere except, maybe Kilby's Toys R Us.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know I hadn't seen. Yeah, I hadn't seen one in like a month, and I honestly don't expect to ever see him anymore. But the fact that you got one, I was like, wow, I'm surprised there are any left.
Yeah.
And I mean, just maybe all the scalpers came in and took them all up, but.
Well,
I was really surprised to see that you got one that late in the game.
Yeah, well, when I originally read the comment, I'm like, well, everyone else, we here on ToyCast are calling them early adopters, but everybody else that has gotten this guy before he's actually at retail, that's what I thought you were talking about, and I'm like, whoa, what the hell kind of comment is that?
Oh, no, it wasn't so much like that. It was the fact that this guy is going to be another Toys R Us exclusive that, I'm probably not going to see here in Indiana for another 2 months, if at all.
Go up to Ohio, because Thorzine got one already.
Well, maybe they'll be here. I don't know, but I know that when RC first started coming out, I would go to the stores. I didn't find them. And I went to the stores like once every couple of weeks. They never came out. And at one point, I started finding Cybertron Ratchet. And I'm like, well, here they open up one case, and the scalpers come in and get all the RCs. And
I don't even think it's a fact of scalpers. I know that adds to it, but I think Hasbro, with these last, breaths of animated, I think they short-packed it. I think, if you have, say, 8 to a case, or 6, however many are in a single case of Wave Toys, say it's 8. You got 6 ratchets. Well, 4 ratchets and like 4 RCs. I don't know. If it's 6 to a case, they probably put 4 ratchets in there and 2 RCs. So you get 2 RCs per case. So you get only 6 cases. So
Well, what you end up with is an entire shelf full of Cybertron ratchets that aren't going to sell. They've still got Cybertron ratchets on the shelf, which makes me wonder how enticed they are to order more
Ironhide.
of these.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I would love to buy an Ironhide. I wasn't so thrilled about Ratchet, but I've already got a Ratchet, old Ratchet, crotchety Ratchet. I like him.
He's great. It's a great toy. I like it.
Yeah, but no, I finally found the RCs. I was really happy, and I know I was late to the game, and I'm finding them at like $45 on eBay. I'm like, I'm not going to pay that much, and thought I got lucky when I found the two that I got, and I wasn't going to be a dick about it. I actually left a few on the shelves as opposed to buying them all up and selling them on eBay.
I bought them and gave them all away.
Yeah.
So,
I bought them with the intention of selling them, but I gave away a couple on the show, and the rest I ended up just giving to friends. I actually took them to BotCon for a prize for the table. And no, I mean, I stopped by Hooper X, my friend in Atlanta. I'm like, hey, do you have a RC? And he's like, no. Now you do. I gave Rob one. I gave, I'm a sucker.
You are a gentleman, sir.
Yes. So, thank you for joining us here on ToyCast. There's several ways to get in contact with us or leave feedback for the show. Visit the website, geekcastradio.com. You can comment on each episode post. Join the forums, PredaconEmpire.com/Nexus. Leave the show feedback in iTunes. Please do this. Follow us on Twitter. The show name there is TFToycast. Mine is TFG1Mike. Brian, what is your Twitter?
BKilby for me, BKILBY, or TF Radio for Radio Free Cybertron. That's what we go under. We call it TF Radio because that's what we've called it since 1999. We're kind of old. We say.
And Michael?
Pecan CT Michael.
Become a fan on Facebook. Search Geekcast Radio Network. You can also search Radio Free Cybertron for their fan page. I think that's what you guys go under, right?
Yeah.
Or is it?
Yeah, we have lots of shows, but we typically call it Radio Free Cybertron.
Right. No, I mean as far as searching on Facebook for the fan page, it's Radio Free Cybertron. Okay.
That's it. Yeah.
Don't join. Call the voicemail line. Tell us the show you're leaving the message for and your name. 502-526-5821. We hope you enjoyed this episode of ToyCast. Wish you'll join us next time. Be sure to visit BigBadToyStore.com for all your Transformers and other toy-related needs and more. For now, I am TFG1 Mike with Brian. Go first.
Brian Kilby.
And Michael
I was going to say, come on, Michael, get with the game already.
Well, you said, okay, Brian, go ahead.
Yeah, well...
Can I go now?
That's how I leave my voicemail. It's always Brian Kilby.
It's weird, as I always say, Michael Wilson. And then it's like, people call and say, Michael Wolfson.
Wolfson.
Do I sound like that? Do I say Wolfson?
I don't know.
I think I do.
Alright, so thank you for joining us. Until next time.